Hello everybody, welcome to the March 25th Tuesday price action review. So getting started, we are looking at the S&P on the left, the Nasdaq in the middle, and the Dow on the right, and we're viewing it through the lens of the 4-hour time frame. So as you all know, in the previous live stream, we wanted to see this high and this high get hit for the S&P and the Nasdaq, while we wanted to see this high get reached for the Dow. And while the Nasdaq did reach its high, so far the S&P and the Dow have failed to do so, which I do still believe price is likely to draw towards there. But for what we can expect tomorrow is really an if-then scenario. So if overnight the S&P were to get above this high and the Dow were to get above this high, and then a bearish Kraken correlation forms come by the New York morning session, then I wouldn't be surprised if we were to return back within the range. But if another bullish Kraken correlation forms, then we could expect higher. So it's really just waiting for price to tip its hand on either side. But regardless, for the long term, I'm still expecting higher prices. But with that being said, going into actual today's price action. So now we're looking at just the S&P and the Nasdaq on the 1-hour chart. And before I even review this, because most of you already know what this is, whenever you're coming into a trading day and I give you a higher time frame level to look out for or a higher time frame draw on liquidity, what you're doing is looking for the exact same setups that I've shared with you so far this year. So if you're expecting higher prices, then you want to see TPDs help support price. If we're suggesting lower prices and I say price is likely to go lower, then we're looking for TPDs and SMTs to support price lower. Because I saw some of you got confused today and some of you got chopped up. And today was low probability in and of itself, which is what we expected because we know that Thursday and Friday will likely be a lot better. And today and tomorrow are prone to being low probability, but low probability does not mean impossible. So as you all can see right here, we have this TPD on the hourly time frame with the 9 a.m. candle. And viewing that TPD through the lens of the lower time frame, we can see that this orange shaded area would be candle 2, and while this green shaded area would be candle 3. So we went from an hourly time frame to a 15-minute time frame. And also going back to this for one moment, looking at the information that we have from the TPD, which asset can we assume is likely to be stronger in the direction that we wanted to see price push toward? I'll give you a second and I'll give you a moment to pause the video. If you said the Nasdaq, then you would be correct. The reason being, looking at the actual opening price of candle 3 compared to the close of candle 1, we can see that this being candle 3 has a higher open compared to the close of candle 1, and our narrative was already bullish, so this suggests that the Nasdaq is stronger, while the S&P had a lower open compared to the close of candle 1, suggesting that it is weaker to the upside. So now with knowing that information, again, the shaded boxes, this would be candle 2, this would be candle 3. Specifically inside of the Nasdaq, knowing that it is stronger, as you all can see, we have this change in the state of delivery right here. So this candle being a part of candle 2, going from a 1-hour chart to a 15-minute chart, this close being above the lowest down close candle's opening price, this would serve as a change in the state of delivery, and this would be the reversion level. So whenever candle 3 opens up, we're looking for price to drop into this candle, and we're looking at that as a buying opportunity to trade into our objective. And as you can see, the S&P being the weaker asset, as soon as candle 3 opens up, trades below the low of candle 2 and then makes a rally higher. So this is why it is important to trade the correct asset, because if you would have tried to take a trade on the S&P and you would have had your stop set right below this low, then you would have gotten wicked out and price would have rallied higher. Now going on to something a little bit deeper, I've seen some of you ask, what do I do if there is a lower time frame TPD within a higher time frame TPD? So how to actually navigate that and maneuver that is firstly identifying if the TPD on the higher time frame is high probability. And how you're going to do that is number 1, seeing a clear-cut reversion level, and number 2, seeing that market maker model sequence that I shared with you all in the deeper dive to reversion levels. So as we can see here on the 15-minute chart, there is no real clear-cut market maker model. So this, in a sense, is lower probability. And whenever you see things like this, if a lower time frame TPD forms within a lower probability higher time frame TPD, that is whenever you can gauge that lower time frame TPD for better precision, but it's not needed because you still could have traded or looked to buy inside of this candle right here on the open of candle 3, and you still would have got a nice amount of profit. But as we can see right here, this candle would be our TPD. So if we compare this opening price to this closing price, we can see the NASDAQ creates a higher open, while if we look at it through the lens of the S&P, we can see that the S&P creates a lower open compared to this close. And here we have it right here. So now going from a 15-minute chart to a 5-minute chart, as you all can see, there is that market maker model sequence, making it a little bit higher probability. Along with that, with knowing that the NASDAQ is stronger, we have this change in the state of delivery right here, which would be characterized inside of candle 2. And this would be the reversion level. Alongside with that, knowing that the S&P is weaker, again, on candle number 3, it creates that same phenomenon where it runs below candle 2's low, creating that short-term SMT right there, making the reversion level valid. And then price rallies higher in the same direction of the higher time frame TPD. So hopefully you all found this one insightful. I will speak with you all again in tomorrow's live stream. Good luck and good trading.